Welcome to the How to Heal podcast, the show where we explore real life stories and practical tools to thrive. I'm your host, Lindsay Tremarky Richter, and through over a 15-year journey of all things healing, I'm here to hook it up. If you're feeling overwhelmed, looking for a deeper connection, or straight up in a psycho-spiritual crisis, I got you covered. Let's unearth your unique elixir to purpose, peace, and progress. Here we go. What's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be finally launching the intro episode to this podcast. This episode will be a little bit about me and my history. I was born in 1982, represents. I grew up on Long Island and I graduated high school in 2000. I partied like it was 1999 all throughout college. And then I moved to New York City after I graduated and traveled a bunch. And I went to NYU for real estate development because at that time, my goal was to make $1 million by the time I was 30. That was my thing. And it was what I thought I was supposed to do, what I thought was like the goal. So, I met my husband actually in 2007, but we started dating 13 years later. And yes, there is hope for love if you're living in Manhattan. And then we moved back to Long Island in 2019. And we are the parents of two wonderful little girls. So that being said, the decade in the city in my mid 20s and 30s was a pivotal time of my life where I had many reckonings and I had to get serious about helping myself because I kept running into issues that no one had the answers for, not doctors, not like no one had the answers. And I went on a self-study journey. So from about 2007 to 2019. Yeah, that was the bulk of my studying in Manhattan. And there I have to give credit where credit is due. This discourse was opened up to me by a small group on the Lower East Side with Gabrielle Bernstein. Credit where credit is due. The girl knows what's up. And she helped me understand that I wanted to have this conversation and that this was the path. This was the path. So listen, it was a long process. I connected, I refused it. I connected, I refused it. I really just, right away, moving into the city and going to graduate school, immediately I knew that it was like, this is not aligned. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. It was really black and white. And the gray area is what took me a really long time to figure out how to live in. So that's what this podcast is about. Understanding that there is black and white and then carving out your own gray that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'll go into I'm excited to be here, guys. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited that you're here because it's finally an opportunity for me to just teach what I've learned. I went through hell and back so many times. I am a cat. I've died. I've died so many times. I haven't had any near-death experiences. Is not what I'm talking about. But my ego death died so many times. And listen, I hurt people along the way and people hurt me. And, this is where I found myself because many times those deaths were unpleasant and violent. And in ways where it was just too much too soon, too much information too soon, like jumping in and being like, okay, let's jump in with the sharks. I'm ready. Not even realizing, what was going on. So this podcast is relevant right now because right now we're going through a reckoning as a collective. We are going through, I was watching this 11/11 portal last night. It was, we're going from Pluto being in Capricorn, which is like hardworking, grounded, religion, like structure. This is what you have to do to get to this. It's hard work, to Aquarius, which is like thinking outside of the box, being free, being like love and fun and, really embodying instead of working so hard to be, right? So I love music, music, music. I love dancing. I love singing. I played sports growing up. I'm just giving you a little background on me so you get to know who you're listening to. I was a junior Olympic softball player in high school. At 8, I found softball and I'm like, yes, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. That makes me feel good, which was such a gift. And then I decided I didn't want to be a professional softball player in college and I played rugby instead. Sorry, mom and dad. And then I turned yogini. So, you know, when I moved into the city, I mentioned I went to NYU for commercial real estate development. I worked in that capacity for numerous retailers that you may know. Just, if you're interested in that, check me out on LinkedIn. And then on the surface, listen, I know you're probably looking at me or listening to me. And especially if you're looking at me, you're being like, oh, this girl is entitled. This girl is like fed with a silver spoon. But deep inside, like many of us, I've been doing things my whole life to make people happy around me. And it really all became just too much in 2008. And that's when I woke up to a mental health crisis. And since then, I mentioned I've been on a mission to heal. So, this podcast, I'll share stories throughout my life. I love storytelling because I have so many ridiculous, insane, coincidental, serendipitous, weird stories that are just going to flow out like no big deal. But, I think, oh my God, I think we need to take a deep breath collectively. And we need to understand that it's fun to see results, right? It's fun to ride the roller coaster. It's fun to like feel that exhilaration right away. But what we really need to work on now is feeling in our body and feeling what that feels like, not seeing what that looks like, but feeling what that feels like in our body so that we obtain those lasting results, that we can remain strong and steadfast in turbulent times. And, we were always taught to muscle through and white knuckle it and fake it till you make it. And listen, I faked it till I made it, and that worked for me in corporate. So I'm not telling you not to fake it till you make it, but I'm telling you that you can't fake till you make healing. Healing is the real deal. And I was talking to my cousin yesterday. I'm like, I'm such a badass. Like, I'm such a, and not like, oh, I hit a home run and I'm like, bam, bam, bam. But I'm like, I slowed down enough. I was able to reel myself in to slow down enough to heal. And I think that is such an underrated, difficult thing to do. When we're taught to go to the races, when we're taught to fight, it's hard to slow down. That's why meditation was so hard for me. Sit down for 20 minutes twice a day. That was never going to happen. But alas, like I worked on it again and again and again. And whew, it was it was hard. So, you know, that's where I've been and where I'm going right now. I'm showing you guys how it's done. I'm showing you how to heal, how you can heal, how you can overcome pretty much anything, anytime, anywhere. And you are never, ever, ever, ever trapped. Ever. And sometimes it's necessary to feel trapped, but understand that the moments will pass. We need to feel through it. We will come out on the other side stronger. We need to feel. And lastly, guys, I'm here to help you avoid burnout. I mean, specifically energetic overload. There's so much going on right now. There's so much going on right now. There's so many changes in the infrastructure of the way we operate as the human race. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, you'll be back, I promise. So, like, it's a time where things are about to get overwhelming. And if you haven't been listening to those cues, I'm here to show you the way to stay grounded, present, and loving while remaining responsible. Because personal responsibility, integrity, and accountability is the name of the game. And that's what we're going to explore on this podcast, How to Heal. So listen, I love you guys. I'm so excited to bring you on this, 15-year quest of in the search of all things healing. And we're going to pull this together and we're going to get through it. And you are going to be the master of your ship. You are going to be the master of your ship in all ways. I'm not here to preach anything. I'm here to give you tools. I'm here to give you the cheat sheet. I've done it. I've been there. You can't scare me. So I love you. Thank you for listening. I will talk to you guys soon.